What's going on, guys? Kenny here again, and what I've got for you in this video is it's going to be an on my mind, and what I'll be talking about today is using your wallet to make a stand, or also you could say like voting with your wallet. And this has been, I've been wanting to make this video for a while now, but there's been a lot of discussion in the community, also a lot of discussion in the chat group I'm in that I talk about with all my friends, other channels, and we've been talking a lot about, there's been a lot of issues that have come up, there's been a lot of, we've also had discussions about this going back a long time, but it's just essentially using your purchasing power as a consumer in order to support companies that you believe in. In the simplest form, and it also supporting companies that you not only believe in, what they're making, but also how they go about business. The reason I'm talking about this is because I think throughout my life, this has become less and less of something that we think about. Especially in today's society, there's so many avenues to get things, especially with Amazon and eBay and all these other options. There's just so many Chinese companies now, and there's so many companies out there putting out product. And you don't even have to be a company nowadays. You could just be you at home buying from a Chinese company, getting it drop shipped from Amazon to the. It's just beyond control at this point. It's just gotten out of control. But as a consumer, as you personally, you can make a difference. I think a lot of times we get drowned. Like I feel like this is where I come from. I felt like for a long time I felt like I couldn't make a difference, so what's the point? It's just like there's no way I could do anything to change it, so I'm just gonna live my life and get the products that I want. If I can get a better price here or there, I'll just do that. But it's irresponsible, guys, as consumers, as Americans, as wherever you come from. Supporting locally is important, in my opinion, especially when it comes to like things like produce and stuff like that. I'm not even gonna get into that stuff. I am gonna try and keep this discussion just to knives, but this goes in everything. This goes across the board in all the products we purchase, whether it be cars or, just like I said, just your produce from your local grocery store. So just making the conscious decision to purchase something because either you agree with the company or you just want to support the company or whatever. And I do feel like sometimes this means going out of your way to maybe spend a little more money. I know that when I was younger, that was the way it was. You spent more. It still is in a sense, but things have gotten a little more cloudy. But you spend more and you get a better product. A lot of times when we were younger, you bought an American product. It was more expensive, but there was not only would you have a good warranty and stuff like that, but the products are usually made better with better materials, better craftsmanship. And that's just the way it was when I was young. American made stood for something. Now, I do think that's been lost. A lot of that has been lost. And Americans don't seem to be as hard of workers on average. I'm not saying everyone. There's still the guys that were working when I was a kid. So I'm not trying to attack anyone here or say anything. But an element of that American-made pride has definitely been lost. And a lot of that could be due to China and other things. But anyways, I digress. What brought this up, and I'm gonna shout out a few people here, but Clint from Alchemy 1, we've had a lot of discussion going back, months and months, but a lot of times Clint would say, I don't buy Chinese knives, I just don't. I want to support I want to support American-made companies, I want to support companies that stand behind their product with good warranties and stuff like that, and I totally respect Clint for the way that he goes about purchasing, and it's actually influenced me in a lot of ways because a lot of the things Clint believes, I also believe. I'm also true, like we've had discussions about Chinese-made products and how China goes about their, business and everything, and we don't necessarily agree with it. Okay, I think that China's factories and just being one on top of the other is part of the reason the world is burning. But anyways, I don't want to get into a political discussion here. I just want to talk about the fact that me personally and Clint there has made a stand and said, I'm not going to buy Chinese-made knives. And in a sense, I should have actually put this in my video recently, the one about my channel in this new year. But I'm actually going to be avoiding Chinese knives because of my personal prerogative. Because I personally believe that China is part of the issue in the world these days. But my decision on my channel this year, I will not be buying I'm not going to just buy Chinese knives. If it's an American company, maybe a company that I've been trying to get a custom knife made or something, and I just can't get a custom, and I can get it from, they're making a production model now with Riyadh or Wii or whatever it may be. I may do that, and you guys have seen I've done that in the past. I still may make exceptions for this, but on an overall thing, I'm just not going to be just buying Chinese knives just to get knives for the channel because I think they look cool or they might work good or whatever. I understand that a lot of Chinese knives are made better than some American-made knives. I'm not trying to say they're not, and I'm not trying to battle anything about it. But what I'm saying is more like my personal ideals. I'm just trying not to buy Chinese knives, okay? It's nothing against the quality or anything like that. But I digress again. But what I really want to get at is, like, for instance, Clint had a video recently talking about the Benchmade Bailout, where I'll also link that video in the description. But the community, after Clint did his video showing that his bailout was, I think it was like 56 HRC or whatever, after that bailout video came out and he showed people what Benchmade was targeting with their bailouts, people decided not to buy the bailout. They said, that's junk, I'm not going to buy it. What did Benchmade do? They changed their production. They decided to up the HRC on their original 3V to 60 to 62, and they also decided to come out with a model in M4 with more rigid scales. I think they might be aluminum scales on it. I'll correct myself if I'm wrong, but with M4 steel in order to make it tougher, well, at least stronger, and at 62 to 64 HRC. So the whole thing about them saying like, oh, it was by design, it was all a load of shit. And they were just, it's just marketing, honestly, and just trying to make it seem okay that they put their 3V at such a low HRC. But we all know that 56 HRC 3V is not going to be any tougher than 60 HRC 3V. In fact, the 60 HRC 3V is going to have better edge stability and probably be tougher. So, in the sense of folding knives. So, yeah, we saw that. People made a stand. People said, this isn't right, I'm not going to buy it, and Benchmade had to change their production subsequently. So it's just, that was making a stand. That was people saying no. And this also comes up in the whole D2. I know that I'm bringing this up again, guys. I'm talking about it again. But just real quickly, I'm going to say, with Gerald, we had discussions as well. You guys can make a decision to change the way things have gone. People stopped buying VG10 and stopped buying things like that, which was a mistake in some cases, but people stopped buying that, so then companies had to change over. People stopped buying 8CR 13 MOVs, so people had to, so companies had to start using D2, which guys, there's a lot of reasons I don't want D2, but if you go watch Gerald's video, I'll link that in the description as well. We'll see why D2, it's just not great for production knives. So I'm choosing, my preference, not to buy D2 budget knives. That's just me, guys. It doesn't perform well for the most part. You can get those unicorns, but for the most part, it doesn't perform well. And it's just like, it's not stain resist. It's not as stain resistant as other steels like 14, C28N and 12C and 154 CM, Oz 8A. So many much better budget steels that are also corrosion resistant than D2. Although D2 done right can have much better edge retention than some of those steels, but in a production level, it's not being done right for the most part. So anyways, moving on from that, like I said, I will link Gerald's video in the description. But I've had this conversation with a lot of those guys, and we've all, kind of, it's brought this to light, at least something I really wanted to talk about. Now, there is an element of not knowing where your money's going, especially today with so many companies, like subcontracted work from different companies and stuff like that. So there is a lot of cloudiness to where is my money going? Just like if you think you're buying a Ford and think you're supporting America, most of your Ford's probably made overseas, Mexico, Guatemala, I think Korea. So, there's definitely some cloudiness there. And just like Toyota, I have a Toyota, guys. They're actually made here mostly. They may be coming from like the Japan's where the main factory is, but my Toyota was made right here in the United States. So there's definitely an element of where's your money going. But with knife companies, I think it's a little clearer, although some companies aren't being clear about where they're having it made. Some people might be lying. But I think a lot of the companies, like even Benchmade, they're made in America, although I'm sure some of their parts are from outside sources. I'm not sure where they're coming from, but, I'm sure they are. But Benchmade's one of those ones where I'm kind of clouded. I don't know if it's a company I want to support with the way they've been, the way they've been treating the community, the way they don't necessarily stand behind their product, although they do. Like, it's kind of cloudy there as well. I've sent Benchmades in and they fixed them for minimal amounts of money. So, they do support the customer in a sense, and they have a really good warranty. But some of the things they're doing, it just seems like a lot of marketing, and I'm still on the fence about that one. I know Clint's kind of jumped off the fence into he's not supporting that company anymore, but I'm still kind of clouded on that one. Although I do think that, man, a lot of things Benchmade could do a lot better. They don't, and it's a U.S. made product, so let's have some pride in that and make it the best we absolutely can. Even if it costs a little bit more, I know that people bitch about that then too. But if you're gonna, Benchmades are already expensive enough. They should be pretty much perfect. At the price they're at with the materials they're using, they should be, making a better product in a lot of cases, in my opinion. So, Spyderco, you guys know I love Spyderco. I'll continue to support Spyderco, even though I know their warranty sometimes can be cloudy. But ZT, guys, you're not going to see me supporting ZT after this last year and seeing how they treated people about the HRC thing and me personally telling me a 1-point variance. And then I just don't agree with the way they do things personally. So I'm going to stay away from ZT personally. I'm not going to go into every company and talk about each company. I am going to avoid Chinese-made products. I'm not saying just American-made because I'll support, even like Roman in Switzerland. There's German products. There's other countries that are doing really good stuff and stand behind their product, and they're very, Shirogorov, they're in Russia, and it's hard to do the warranty thing, but they make a really nice product, and they seem to stand behind it, so I'll support other companies in other countries. I'm just going to avoid China. I'm going to avoid certain things like that. I know I'm missing something. I know I'm not talking about something I wanted to talk to you guys about, but I think that in the gist of it, I kind of got to, and it's really just about making decisions to use your purchasing power in order to stand behind products that you believe in. This also is what our HRC testing, the cut testing, that's what this is all about, is giving you guys the ammunition to make decisions. It just gives you the information. And I know that some people think maybe this was just to attack companies or something, but it really isn't. It's not to get at companies necessarily, although I have gotten in contact with companies although it's not always the best results. But I have tried to get in contact to let companies know about it. Although there is an element of, hey, they should be watching and wanting, in honesty, they should be sending us knives. You know, they should want that information to get out there. If they make a good product, you know, if you can stand behind your product, you would not be afraid to send me your knife, or Gerald, or anybody that's critical, that's going to test it, or actually give you a full, honest review of it. So, yeah, I think there's an element of like, it needs to be, there needs to be more companies that would stand behind it in that sense of just like, I want to hear all the information. I want to hear the negative, the positive, and then I can make adjustment accordingly. But the HRC thing and it's all to give you the ammunition. It's to give the consumer the idea of what they should go for, you know. And this goes for all levels, whether it be super expensive knives or budget knives. That one guy that's buying, all he's buying is his D2 Civivi, and that's his one knife. That's for you, dude. You can see that the performance of D2 is a lot of times under AUS 8 or you know, VG10 or other things that have in the past been like put down, saying it's not good steel. There's steels out there that just got bad raps because someone didn't like something about. I don't know why. Maybe one knife didn't perform, but we are seeing and also like Pete, Cedric, and Ada's tests. But that's against rope, you know. I don't want to get into the whole thing, but those are all things to give you purchasing power, to give you the knowledge. Even the rope cutting, if that's what you do, that's what you should do. You should get knives according to Pete's testing because you cut rope all day. So that's all this stuff is just to give you guys the ammunition, to give you that information to make a calculated decision, essentially. So anyways, I know I rambled on a little bit at the end here, but I hope this came across the right way. I hope that this brought you some value, and tell me what you think, if I'm full of crap or if I have no ground to stand on or what. But thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day.